Something is out there in the woods. Hikers keep going missing. These are the chilling encounters that many believe are directly linked to Bigfoot. In December 2024, 2 men disappeared deep inside the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, one of the most remote, heavily wooded regions of the Pacific Northwest. They weren't just on a camping trip. They were searching for Bigfoot.
The family says the 2 were out looking for Sasquatch.
The 2 were searching for Sasquatch.
According to local reports, the 2 Portland men were part of a small community, convinced that Sasquatch sightings in the area were tied to something much bigger and much more dangerous. They had visited the forest several times before, but this time, they never made it back. Days later, a massive 3-day search effort ensued, involving over 60 volunteers, including search and rescue teams, canine units, drones, and ground searchers. That's when rescue teams found their bodies, both of them victims of exposure. No signs of an accident, just gone, as if they had wandered into the trees, and something made sure they never left. What really rattled locals, though, was where they were found, just miles from the infamous Ape Canyon, the same place that, back in 1924, a group of miners claimed they were attacked by mountain devils during the night. And it's not just old stories. In the months before the Bigfoot hunters vanished, sightings in the area had spiked. Locals were capturing these creatures, sometimes knowing, and other times oblivious of the fact that a beast might be lurking nearby.
Isn't this gorgeous?
Some say it's just shadows. Others say it's the same thing those miners saw 100 years ago. But what can't be denied is this. 2 men went into those woods looking for Bigfoot, and they didn't come back alive. And no one can explain what really happened out there. There's a place in the far north that makes the Bermuda Triangle look tame. Locals call it the Alaska Triangle, a vast region stretching between Anchorage, Juneau, and Barrow. And since the 1970s, more than 20,000 people have vanished inside it without a trace. But this isn't just about geography or bad weather. For years, witnesses have reported things moving through the snow. Massive things, covered in dark fur, walking on 2 legs.
Oh my God. There it is. It's right behind that tree.
Sometimes even leaving behind footprints. Entire search parties have gone in, only to come back with stories of howls echoing across valleys and trees stripped clean, too high for any known animal to reach. And while scientists try to explain it away with hypothermia or getting lost, native Alaskan tribes have been warning about this creature for generations, calling it the hairy man. And then there were stories linked like of Andrew Kamluck, who had gone out logging in 1931. He was found dead in the woods from a blow to the head. A piece of log-moving equipment nearby may have been used as a weapon. Sometime later, Tom Larson went out to chop wood for fish traps when he saw something large and hairy on the beach. Some say this Alaskan Sasquatch variation is more aggressive than the one seen down south. Larger, faster, less afraid to make itself known. And what ties it all together is the pattern. The disappearances happen most often in areas surrounded by dense forest, snow-covered mountains, and zero road access. The perfect hiding place. Even satellite searches have failed to turn up anything. But then, every now and then, a clue appears, a footprint, or a sighting. So whether it's Bigfoot, something alien, or something we still don't understand, something is taking people in the Alaska Triangle, and it's been happening for decades. In 1983, a 4-year-old girl named Nyleen Marshall vanished while playing near a creek in the Helena National Forest, Montana. Marshall was playing with other children who had walked ahead of her near the beaver dams on Maupin Creek. When they turned around, Marshall was nowhere to be seen. Search teams combed the forest for weeks, but what came next is what made this case legendary. Years later, her family began receiving anonymous letters. The writer claimed to be raising Nyleen off the grid, teaching her at home, and keeping her hidden from the world. Whoever it was called the FBI and gave information that only someone close to the case would know. Enough to make agents know that this wasn't a prank. But the man was never found, and neither was Nyleen. So the theories began. One stood out, the wild man theory, a feral human, a forest dweller, living completely isolated from civilization, possibly for decades. Someone who moves silently, watches from the trees, and knows exactly how to avoid being seen. In 2012, one such creature was even caught on a trail camera. This theory isn't just internet folklore. Let's go back to 1969. 6-year-old Dennis Martin was on a Father's Day hike with his family near Spence Field, a grassy clearing deep inside the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The kids were playing hide and seek. Dennis stepped behind a bush, and he was never seen again. There was a huge search, but then came the chilling report. A separate family, hiking nearby, heard a loud scream and then saw a wild-looking hairy man running through the trees, carrying something over his shoulder. Rangers dismissed the sighting, but the locals didn't. And that same year, hikers near Yellowstone described someone living deep in the forest, tall, hairy, and moving upright through the brush. Some believe these are simply disturbed humans living outside society. Others think there's something more to it. Something not quite human, but not quite animal either. And in the case of Nyleen Marshall, it's the silence that haunts. Because despite national media coverage, a police sketch, and decades of investigation, not a single verified sighting has ever been confirmed. She disappeared into the trees, and someone or something took her in. Back in July of 1981, 14-year-old Stacy Aris was on a guided horseback trip through Yosemite National Park, traveling with her father and a small group of tourists. They had stopped for the night at Sunrise High, Sierra Camp, a remote backcountry station. At some point that afternoon, Stacy decided to walk a short distance away from the group to take photographs. She wasn't going far, just down a nearby path to get a better shot of the lake. One man from the group watched her walking down the trail. A few minutes passed, and she never came back. Search teams were called in almost immediately. Over the next 9 days, helicopters, dogs, and dozens of searchers scoured the area, but the only thing they ever found was the cap from her camera lens. Years later, when journalists and researchers tried to access her case file, they were denied. And this led to people asking more questions. What could possibly be in there that they wouldn't want public? That's what raised so many eyebrows. Yosemite has long been rumored to be home to something strange. Over the years, hikers have reported sightings of large, upright figures in the forest, creatures moving on 2 legs, often seen at night, leaving behind massive footprints or disappearing just as quickly as they appeared. The footprints, paired with unusual nighttime sounds and rocks thrown at tents, had locals talking about something they simply call the Tall One. In fact, the same region where Stacy vanished has been tied to multiple Bigfoot sightings over the last few decades. Stacy isn't the only one to disappear under strange circumstances. Years later, a hiker named Timothy John Barnes went missing in almost the same spot. His backpack was found near a ridge, but like Stacy, there was no body, no sign of injury, and no explanation. So the question still stands. Why was only Stacy's lens cap found? Why has her case been sealed for over 40 years? And why does one of America's most visited national parks seem to have so many footprints, but no answers? On July 24th, 1997, Amy Rowe Bechtel pulled her car onto a remote gravel road deep inside Shoshone National Forest. She was just 24 years old, a promising athlete, and had gone out that day for a solo run in the Wind River Mountains, one of the most isolated regions in Wyoming. She never came back. Her car was found hours later, parked neatly at a trailhead. Inside were her sunglasses, car keys, and a roll of undeveloped film. Everything was in place, except Amy. Search teams arrived quickly, but they couldn't find anyone. And that's when people started asking the bigger question: what kind of place erases someone this cleanly? The forest she disappeared in has long been part of what some call missing 411 territory, clusters of bizarre, unexplained vanishings in national parks across North America. And Amy's case fits the pattern almost perfectly. An experienced hiker disappears alone. No witnesses, no weather issues, and no evidence left behind. But it doesn't stop there. In the years since Amy's disappearance, hikers and campers in the same region have reported something strange. Tall figures moving through the tree line, heavy footsteps circling tents late at night.
He's literally knocking.
And the overwhelming sense of being watched by something that wasn't quite human. Coming back to Amy, some believe she may have crossed paths with someone hiding in those woods, a person who didn't want to be found. Others think it wasn't a person at all. The Wind River Range has been linked to stories of creatures for decades, tall, silent, and powerful. And Amy's disappearance remains one of the most disturbing unsolved cases in modern wilderness history. Just a still forest, and a silence that never gave her back. In 2014, Kenny Veach, a solo hiker and YouTuber from Nevada, set out into the desert to find something strange he believed he had stumbled across once before. A cave shaped like the letter M, hidden somewhere near Nellis Air Force Base. He claimed the cave wasn't just unusual, it was dangerous. In a video, he was seen looking for the cave again, searching for a weird cave that I came across on a previous hike.
And I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday.
He described it as overwhelming, like something inside the cave was affecting him physically. Spooked, he turned back, but the internet wanted proof. Encouraged by viewers and skeptics, Kenny returned to the area to find it again, this time with his camera rolling. He never came back. His phone was later found near an abandoned mine shaft, but Kenny himself was gone. That's when the theories started. Some believed he stumbled into a military testing zone, and that whatever he found wasn't meant to be seen. The location sits just miles from classified areas near Nellis, where Black Ops aircraft and underground installations have long been rumored. Others think he may have uncovered something even stranger. They linked it straight to Bigfoot. Others knew. Often Bigfoot causes a fearful or spooky feeling in nearby humans. But then the area where Veach was doesn't really have a lot of Bigfoot sightings, so it didn't really convince a lot of people. Still, chances were there, but for others, they had other reasons. I wonder if the cave was vibrating because it was going to collapse, and maybe he found it and got buried by falling rocks. And in Kenny's last YouTube upload, he's clearly unsettled. His words are calm, but his eyes scan the horizon constantly. It's as if he already knew he wasn't alone out there. There's also the cave itself. The one Kenny was looking for, the so-called M cave, has never been verified, even with coordinates, maps, and drone searches. It's as if the location shifted or was never meant to be found again. Years later, there's still no trace of Kenny Veach, just a man walking into the desert looking for answers and disappearing into something no one can quite explain. For years, strange things have happened deep in the woods of Grimes County. Unexplained screams, missing objects, footprints in places no person should be. For a while, it was easy to dismiss until people started seeing evidence. One night, as a woman named Kathy was out, a scream echoed out from the dark. It was unlike anything she'd ever heard before. Later, Kathy found massive footprints by the tree line. It was three-toed, clawed, and was deep enough to bend the grass underneath. A few nights after that, she heard the howls, 2 of them, echoing back and forth like a call and response. That's the time when scary things began to happen. Heavy cement blocks at the gates were being moved. 8 decorative discs disappeared from the dog enclosures, ripped clean off without a trace. The next morning, they found a clump of coarse orangey blonde hair lodged beneath the 5th wheel, along with more of those same tracks. But this creature didn't fit the typical profile. Its feet were longer, slimmer, and that led to the conclusion that it wasn't just Bigfoot. It was more like a wolfman. And not long after that, another video got uploaded which showed this. For Kathy and Jerry, this wasn't some legend passed down by locals. It was real, it was outside, and it was watching. Some called it a wolfman. Others said it was just another face of Bigfoot. But no one could explain why it came here, to a place full of predators, and didn't seem afraid of any of them. In late 2024, footage captured near the mountainous region of Aguascalientes shows what appears to be an impossibly tall figure, standing motionless on a distant ridge. The proportions are all wrong. The figure appears to be at least 12 to 15 feet tall, standing perfectly still, as if surveying the valley below. Any figure at that distance would look way smaller. You could barely even notice them. What makes this sighting particularly chilling is its connection to centuries-old Mexican folklore. Long before Spanish colonization, indigenous peoples of central Mexico spoke of the Quinns, a race of giants who once walked the earth. According to Aztec codices and oral traditions, these beings were said to be the remnants of a previous world, survivors of great floods who retreated to remote mountains and caves. They were described as peaceful but elusive, avoiding contact with humans while maintaining their ancient vigil over the land. The Nahuatl people specifically mentioned giants in the region that is now Aguascalientes, calling them the Tall Watchers, beings who would stand sentinel on mountaintops, visible only at dawn and dusk when the light played tricks on mortal eyes. What do you think? Is this one of the tall watchers? Deep in the remote wilderness of Russia, explorers stumbled upon something that shouldn't exist. A perfectly circular shaft, carved into solid rock, descending so far into the earth, local authorities won't discuss it. Geological surveys have been classified, but the footage leaked anyway. And when you listen closely, you can hear why they wanted it buried. Those sounds aren't echoes or wind currents. They sound like screams of agony, rising from depths that shouldn't be possible. Sounds that seem almost human. This isn't the first time Russia has encountered something like this. Back in the 1970s, Soviet scientists were conducting the deepest drilling project in human history, the Kola Super Deep Borehole. They were trying to drill through the Earth's crust, deeper than anyone had ever gone before. But at 12,000 meters down, something went wrong. Equipment began malfunctioning. Temperatures spiked to over 1,000 degrees Celsius, far hotter than expected. And then, the microphones picked up sounds. Dr. Dmitry Azakov, the project's chief scientist, later claimed they had drilled through the gates of hell itself. The project was abandoned shortly after. At least that is what the stories tell. I tried to find more info on this, but I was unable to. Was all of this a cover-up by the Soviet government, or is this just a story? What do you think? Something massive is about to surface.
Let it come up.
Oh, it's big. What the is that? Go!
I would be terrified as well if I was in a boat and saw that thing. Many claim this is an anaconda, and while they are known to be able to swim, they don't usually do that. The movement pattern matches large constrictors perfectly, but it does make you think about giant sea creatures as well. This footage bears striking similarity to historical accounts dating back centuries. In 1848, HMS Daedalus crew reported a 60-foot sea serpent that followed their ship, moving with identical undulating motions. Nordic legends described Jörmungandr, the world serpent that lived beneath the waves. What if these weren't myths, but encounters with creatures like the one in this video? Spotting something unusual on the ground? Sure, you can walk right up to it and see what's going on. But when something bizarre happens in the sky, that's a whole different story. Confusing, shocking, and downright mysterious. Like this video managed to capture.
Yo, what the f?
This clip went viral online, with many claiming it captured an unknown flying object sighting in broad daylight. The video shows the camera panning toward the sky, focusing on the clouds, when suddenly a black, bullet-like shadow zips between the clouds in a flash. This mysterious object seemed like the shadow of something massive flying above the clouds, and it was incredibly fast. You can even hear the onlookers reacting in shock, which adds authenticity and makes it hard to believe this was just computer-generated imagery. There could be many speculations about what this video captured. Some say it could be an unknown flying object, while others think there might be a more logical explanation. Perhaps a plane casting a shadow. But if it was a plane, why did it just vanish into the clouds and never reappear? This is a strange and intriguing capture, and I hope we get some answers soon. On foggy winter mornings, my mind used to wander, imagining what kinds of creatures might be lurking, hidden in the mist. It was just a playful thought, until I saw this video, which seems to bring those eerie imaginings to life. This video, uploaded to YouTube, shows a foggy morning scene in a field. The camera view starts out tense, with the cameraman seeming frantic and anxious as he pans around, clearly searching for something hidden in the fog. He suddenly starts running towards the field, pointing the camera at the sky, as if trying to catch a glimpse of something just out of sight. And then, after a tense moment of searching, he finds it, a massive, monstrous creature. The creature is long, with strange, hair-like appendages hanging down from its body. It moves through the air like a giant worm, its body resembling a centipede, giving off an almost otherworldly vibe. The cameraman, frozen in place, records this eerie sight until the creature finally disappears into the fog. Then, as if snapping out of a nightmare, he turns and runs in the opposite direction, clearly shaken by what he just witnessed. It's a scene straight out of a fever dream, like those surreal nightmares that linger in your mind long after you wake up, but don't let it get to you too much. It's most likely just an creation, probably using some kind of fog monster filter. Still, it's enough to give you a chilling visual of what those foggy creatures of the imagination might look like. Neighbor kids can sometimes be a handful. The noise, the mess, and the chaos. But this one decided to take things up a notch and give his neighbor nightmares.
You okay? Do your parents know you're out here?
This video was recorded by a homeowner who noticed something odd in their front yard. As they stepped outside with their camera, they spotted a kid dressed in a furry costume and wearing a creepy, goat-like face mask. The unsettling part? The kid was just standing there, blankly staring at the camera from behind a tree. He didn't move an inch, even as the homeowner got closer, which only added to the eerie vibe. From a distance, it almost looks like some kind of cryptid lurking among the trees. As creepy as this was, I have to admit, the blooming flowers in the yard are stunning. As for the kid, maybe his parents sent him out to play because they were tired of him standing in the corner, silently staring at them instead. While the conflict between Russia and Ukraine continues to dominate headlines, a recent video from a Ukrainian soldier hints at an even more extraordinary twist, otherworldly interest in the scene.
На месте стоит, ты ж бачишь.
А на месте, блядь, ну.
А в теплак ничего не стоит?
Captured by a Ukrainian soldier from an aircraft, this footage shows something unusual hovering in the sky. As the camera zooms in, we see a disc-shaped object floating calmly in the open sky. The object doesn't move or fire any weapons, which left the soldier visibly puzzled. After initially observing the anomaly, the soldier decided to leave the area, only to find that the object had vanished upon their return. In a subsequent debrief with his battalion, the soldier described the unidentified object as massive, about the size of a 100-story building, roughly 400 meters in width and 100 meters in height. Despite struggling with strong winds in their aircraft, the object remained eerily stationary, seemingly unaffected by the harsh weather conditions. Thermal imaging revealed that the object was 20 to 30 degrees hotter than its surroundings. While the unknown flying object theory might seem plausible, it's worth considering a more grounded explanation, like a sophisticated Russian spy drone. Either way, this footage adds a chilling layer of mystery to an already intense situation. In the dead of night, when the world is fast asleep, something awakens in the forest. This chilling footage, captured deep within an Indian forest, reveals one such enigmatic entity. Is it a local legend come to life, or something far more sinister? Watch for yourself. This video was recorded by a local villager conducting a routine night check in the nearby woods. As the camera pans through the darkness, it captures a solitary figure standing eerily still among the trees. The creature's eyes, reflecting the camera's flash, lock onto the lens with a gaze that is both haunting and lifeless. After a few seconds, the figure extends its hands, beckoning the cameraman to come closer. The video abruptly ends, leaving a chilling sense of dread. The creature's outline vaguely resembles a human, but everything else about it is deeply unsettling. The way it stares directly into the camera is nothing short of nightmarish. According to the video's uploader, this entity is referred to as a Adamkor, which translates to cannibal in English. The thought of encountering something so sinister adds an even darker layer to this already terrifying footage. If you got so far in the video, it means you're a dedicated viewer. Thank you. And if you subscribe and hit the bell button, I promise to keep posting these for you to enjoy. This video, captured in the dead of night, taps directly into the primal fear we have during the nights. This video, uploaded by a homeowner, reveals what might be lurking outside your window in the dead of night. In the footage, you can see a bizarre and creepy figure that vaguely resembles a dog, standing just outside the window, staring straight into the camera view. Calling it dog-like is a stretch, because this thing is anything but ordinary. It has these huge, haunting eyes and long, twisted arms that make your skin crawl. But those eyes, man, those eyes are the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. They pierce right through you, like they're peering into your soul. The fact that this creature just stands there, blankly staring into the camera, makes the whole clip 10 times more terrifying. Whatever this thing is, one thing's for sure. I'll be double-checking my locks tonight. Despite our best efforts, there are still countless secrets hidden within the depths of our forests. This next video, captured by a hiker, offers a glimpse into one such mystery that will leave you questioning what truly lurks in the woods. Did you catch that? The video you just saw was recorded by a hiker during a deep trek into an untouched forest. As he ventures further into the wilderness, it's clear from the camera movement that he's trying to capture something specific, waiting, almost anticipating. Then, out of nowhere, the reason for his focus reveals itself. A massive black figure peeks out from behind a distant tree. This creature was enormous. Even though we only caught a glimpse of its body, its sheer height and width were monstrous. As soon as the hiker spotted it, he bolted, and the video cuts off abruptly. So, what exactly did we just see? Those who've watched the video are convinced it was Bigfoot, pointing to the creature's towering height and dark fur as evidence. But with the limited angle and the brief appearance, it's hard to say for sure. What do you think? Was it really Bigfoot, or could it be something else entirely? As kids, many of us dreamed of encountering fantasy creatures like fairies and dragons. But as we grew older, we had to accept the harsh reality that these mystical beings were just products of our imagination. Or were they? This TikTok video, shared by a user, might just reignite your childhood wonder. It shows a mysterious hatching from a couple of peculiar eggs. inside a glass-framed box, there's a strange, dragon-like baby that looks like it just emerged from one of the eggs. And if that wasn't enough to give you chills, there's another egg in the box, starting to hatch as well. The little creature has a lizard-like body, but its wings and those long, bent legs with sharp claws give off serious dragon vibes. Naturally, the internet is losing its collective mind, with people freaking out and screaming that dragons are real. But before you get too excited, let me burst that bubble for you. It's not real. Yep, I'm sorry to say, but what you're looking at is just an incredibly detailed art piece, made from clay by a skilled artist. I know, it's a bit of a letdown. But seriously, hats off to the creator. They did an amazing job, making it so realistic that it almost makes you wish dragons really existed. If you think tornadoes are terrifying, just wait until you see this wild tradition from an Afro-Brazilian religion called Umbanda. That's both scary and mesmerizing at the same time, right? This video was captured by a homeowner showing off a fascinating and somewhat eerie tradition that involves praying with a fire tornado. In the video, you can hear a religious chant taking place, and then suddenly, the floor is lit with fire. Within seconds, the flames spiral into a fast-spinning tornado, right there in the middle of the room. The fire shoots up, almost touching the ceiling, which looks downright dangerous. The way the flames twist and turn, it's like some kind of extraterrestrial force is controlling it. So, I did some digging and found an explanation from a firefighter. He mentioned that this kind of phenomenon isn't all that uncommon. Apparently, these mini-fire tornadoes happen when rising heat displaces the colder air around it, causing the flames to spin, especially if an accelerant is involved. So no supernatural forces at work here, just the laws of nature doing their thing. But still, doing that in a closed room, that's pretty dangerous if you ask me. People often say that animals, especially dogs, can see beyond our realm, that they have the ability to perceive spirits. I've always been a bit skeptical about that, until I came across this video uploaded by a dog owner. In this eerie footage, captured by a dog cam, you'll see a dog named Shiloh, whose best friend passed away just a few months ago, entering the house. But here's where things get really strange. As Shiloh approaches the door, she suddenly pauses and seems to allow a strange, white, dog-shaped mist to enter the house first. It's almost like she's waiting for something, or someone. The owner believes that Shiloh was letting her friend, the senior dog who recently passed, enter the house before her. They're convinced that this mist was the spirit of their departed pet, and that Shiloh is still interacting with her old friend, even in spirit form. What's really wild is that the camera view actually captured this misty figure so clearly. I have to admit, it gave me chills. I mean, I'm still a bit skeptical. It could just be a camera glitch, right? But then again, the way Shiloh waited for that mist to pass was pretty convincing. It makes you wonder if there's more to the world than what we can see. There are millions of species of bugs and insects crawling around our planet. Yet nature somehow continues to surprise us by adding more strange and bizarre creatures to its ever-growing collection. Just take a look at this. What on earth is that thing? This video comes from a Reddit user who stumbled upon a seriously strange creature crawling around their neighborhood. In the footage, you can see this alien-looking critter inching its way across the road. Its long body has a tree-like texture, with what looks like leaves on its tail and twigs sprouting from its back. The head resembles a bug, but the rest of it looks like a tiny, dried-up forest come to life. It's so eerie that it's almost as if this creature is an apprentice of some alien race. But despite its otherworldly appearance, this creepy crawler isn't from another planet. It's actually a known type of caterpillar called a bagworm caterpillar. These little guys are masters of disguise, creating a protective case, or bag, around themselves using silk and bits of plant material like leaves, twigs, or needles. This bag acts as camouflage, helping the caterpillar blend in with its surroundings and avoid predators. The one in the video seems to be a pro at this whole camouflage game because it's doing an incredible job of looking like a miniaturized forest. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. Sea monsters and their legends have been around for ages, with the Loch Ness Monster often stealing the spotlight. But recently, a video from South Africa has introduced a new contender in this race for the most terrifying creature of the deep. That's unbelievable. This video, recorded by a fisherman, was supposed to be just a casual day on the water at Harpies, but it took a terrifying turn. In the footage, you can see a fisherman rowing his small boat in the distance, with the water looking calm and peaceful. But then, out of nowhere, something happens. The fisherman suddenly gets sucked into the water as if an unseen force just yanked him down. And then the reason for it becomes horrifyingly clear. A massive giant snake emerges from the depths, swallowing the man whole before disappearing back into the water. The video cuts off there, but the terror it leaves behind lingers. It all happened so fast. 1 second the fisherman was rowing, and the next he was gone. It's absolutely terrifying to watch. But I have to admit, I'm a bit skeptical. To me, it looks like some clever editing. After the snake dives back into the water, the surface ripple waves look pretty fake. Like, if you look closely, they just don't seem right. The concept is chilling, but the execution. When everything shuts down and the world falls silent, what could be hiding in the darkness? What lurks in the shadows when no one's around? This eerie footage from an indoor basketball court might just give you the answers you didn't know you were afraid to ask. What you just saw was captured in an indoor basketball court as it was about to close, and it manages to record something truly unexplainable. The video starts with the court completely empty, no one around, not a sound, until suddenly a black smoke materializes out of thin air and begins hovering over the court. As it moves, the smoke morphs into a humanoid figure, and just as quickly as it appears, the video ends, leaving us with more questions than answers. This is seriously strange. That figure didn't look human at all. It started as this eerie, translucent, smoky mass before taking on a humanoid shape. And here's the thing, if this was some kind of editing trick, it was done incredibly well. The way the smoke blended with the surroundings, and how seamlessly it transitioned into the figure, it's hard to believe it's fake. We've all heard tales of Bigfoot and Yowies, but this video from a native burial ground might introduce us to a new beast that could give all of them a run for their money. The video you just watched was captured by a trail camera set up in a burial ground forest in April 2024. At first glance, it seems like just another recording of snow-covered woods. But hold on. Things take a wild turn. After a few seconds, something massive and black suddenly materializes in the distance on the trail. This creature looks like it's covered in thick black fur, and the way it towers over the nearby trees is nothing short of astonishing. Now, some might say it could be a gorilla or some other large ape, but here's the catch. There are no gorillas or apes in this region, not even close. And the sheer size and shape of this thing blow that theory out of the water. According to the uploader, this creature is known as Kiwakatan Wapiawe, or the Dark Forest Beast, to a local native band. It's said to haunt the sacred burial grounds, emerging from time to time to remind everyone of its presence. The video's existence raises questions about the nature of this mysterious creature and the possibility of other, unknown beings inhabiting our forests. Whatever it is, the Kiwakatan Wapaya Way is a terrifying reminder of the mysteries that still surround our natural world. As technology advances, features once considered fictional, such as self-driving cars, become a reality. While these advancements are impressive, they can also lead to unexpected and potentially eerie encounters. This video from a Tesla owner showcases a peculiar incident involving the car's sensors. The Tesla detected a group of people and a motorcycle on the roadside, but when the owner exited the vehicle, there was no one in sight. Instead, the owner found only a gravestone and a few bouquets. The owner initially believed the Tesla might have detected a ghostly presence. However, upon closer inspection, they discovered a small toy motorcycle on the gravestone, likely the source of the motorcycle detection. As for the A group of people, it appears the car might have mistaken the bouquets for individuals. So, Tesla, while it's impressive that your sensors are so sensitive, it looks like there's still some work to be done. Or maybe you're just ahead of the curve, preparing us for a future where spirits might be considered part of the traffic system too. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. Picture yourself on a sundown grocery run, cruising in your car when suddenly, everything becomes brilliantly bright, as if the sun has made an unexpected reappearance. However, the reality dawns on you. It's not the sun causing this intense illumination. This video originates from Russia and was captured by a car's dashcam. The footage reveals a strange, glowing light traversing the sky, gradually approaching the surface. As it descends, the light intensifies, illuminating everything below. According to news reports, this phenomenon was caused by a meteorite disintegrating upon entering Earth's atmosphere. The awareness that it was a meteorite adds an unsettling element to the video. Contemplating the potential consequences if the meteorite had struck the Earth's surface raises questions about the magnitude of destruction it could have caused. Thankfully, the meteorite disintegrated in the sky, preventing any catastrophic impact on the ground. This YouTube video, posted by a channel named Asia Wire, showcases an unusual humanoid baby with distinctive features that set it apart from a typical human infant. The baby in the video possesses hands and feet resembling those of an animal, along with a mouth adorned with two prominent fangs and strange ears. The footage, recorded by a woman, appears to be a demonstration of this creature, which could potentially be a prop for a creative project. While there's a possibility that this is a prop, its realistic appearance draws parallels to characters from fantasy films, such as those in The Lord of the Rings. Despite having some human-like features, the baby bears a striking resemblance to a Tasmanian devil, evident in its fangs, hands, feet, and even a tail. The question arises, is this a hybrid between a Tasmanian devil and a human, or is it simply a prop designed for a movie project? There's a common belief that if you live near woods and hear strange screams for help at night, it's best to call the police because some person might be in trouble. However, that is not always the case. A homeowner recently uploaded a video on Facebook capturing the eerie noises emanating from the nearby woods. Intrigued, he ventured out to investigate further, only to discover that the voices sounded like a human yelling for help, but accompanied by unsettling growls. Some viewers suggested the possibility of skinwalkers, beings known for transforming into other living forms to deceive and lure unsuspecting individuals. It is also especially known that skinwalkers try to imitate voices. However, they are not very good at it. Just listen again. In such a situation, the best course of action is to call the police, allowing trained professionals to assess and handle the situation appropriately. Ever heard of the Michigan monster legend, the Dog Man? Well, if you haven't, this video is about to give you a glimpse of what it's like to have one in your area. The footage shows a street, and the guy eagerly zooms in on something in the distance. You can clearly see there's this dog-like creature jumping around in a really strange way. As the creature leaps, you can see its legs and arms, which look like a mix between a human and a dog. According to the guy recording, this creature appeared to be on the hunt in the neighborhood, making all kinds of scary sounds.
Fuck is that?
I used to think that dogmen were just myths, but after watching this video, I've got to admit, it's adding another thing to my to fear list. The video originates from an explorer who frequently delves into abandoned structures in forested areas. During one such exploration, he encountered an abandoned cottage-like house in the heart of the forest. Before entering, he recorded the surroundings of the house. However, upon reviewing the footage later, he made a chilling discovery, something peeking through the side windows of the house. The explorer initially missed this during the exploration, as it was concealed in the darkness. Upon freezing the frame and zooming in, it becomes apparent that the entity is a tall, humanoid creature. Unfortunately, the obscured appearance and lack of facial features make it challenging to discern more details. The eerie aspect is that this creature was present in an abandoned house deep within the dense forest. The motives of this mysterious creature remain unknown. Its presence raises questions about why it would choose to stay in such an isolated and abandoned location. The unsettling nature of the discovery adds an element of mystery to the explorer's adventure. Caring for the elderly often involves a comforting routine of quiet nights and familiar rhythms. But for one caregiver, what should have been another peaceful night took a chilling turn that could have come straight out of a horror movie. This eerie video, uploaded on TikTok, comes from a user who claims to be the caregiver for an elderly woman who had been unable to walk for 2 years. One night, as the caregiver drifted off to sleep, she left her phone recording by accident. What it captured is the stuff of nightmares. The room is dimly lit, with the TV casting shadows, and the caregiver is fast asleep. At some point, she turns over in her sleep, causing the phone to fall, its camera view now eerily focused on the doorway. As the phone shifted, it captured a horrifying scene of the elderly woman who was believed to be unable to walk, standing at the doorway. She just stands there, watching, as if silently stalking the sleeping caregiver. The tension builds as the old woman remains motionless, her presence casting a heavy, sinister vibe over the scene. Then, without warning, she bolts towards the camera, and the video cuts off, leaving us with more questions than answers. How is this possible? Was she faking her condition all this time? Or are we dealing with something far more disturbing? Is she even human? It's hard not to shudder at the thought of what might have happened next. The duties of night shift nurses often differ drastically from those of their daytime counterparts. The daytime shifts are bustling with activity, but at night it's just a handful of us, the darkness, and, well, sometimes things that shouldn't be there.
Váyanse de aquí, ahorita va a prender un incienso. Se les acabó el chistecito.
Did you catch that? This video was uploaded by a couple of night shift nurses who accidentally recorded something, or someone that wasn't supposed to be there. In the clip, they're casually recording the hospital's waiting hall. Everything seems normal at first, but then the nurse pans the camera to a shadowy corner. And that's when it gets unsettling. There, standing in the dark, is a figure. It has a humanoid appearance, like an old man hunched over as if time itself has weighed down on him. But here's the creepy part. The nurses, including the one holding the camera, swear they didn't notice anyone standing there at the time. It's only when they reviewed the footage that they saw this mysterious figure. So, who or what is this? Maybe it's just a patient waiting for assistance. But then again, why would they be lurking in that dark corner, unnoticed by everyone? The whole thing is pretty strange, don't you think? It's enough to make you wonder what really happens during those quiet, shadowy hours of the night shift. The concept of the firmament, also known as heaven in various religions, is something people either believe in or dismiss as myth. However, this TikTok video, uploaded by a user claiming to have captured a rare sight, might just offer some intriguing proof.
I'm looking at the reflection of the sun in the water right now, and you see there's like a rainbow around it. Does anyone else see that? There's a huge rainbow just going around the sun.
In this TikTok clip, the user shares what they claim is their first real-life sighting of a sun halo, caught on camera. The video shows the sun surrounded by a stunning, colorful ring that resembles a rainbow. The sun itself also looks a bit different, but it's that vibrant ring that really enhances the scene's beauty. The clip has sparked a flurry of debate in the comments, with some viewers suggesting it's evidence of the firmament from biblical texts, while others argue it's just a sundog, caused by the refraction of sunlight through ice crystals. In reality, it appears to be more of a sun halo, which occurs when light refracts off ice crystals in a thin layer of cirrus clouds, forming a ring around the sun or moon. Who would have thought that the secret to staying warm in freezing temperatures could be something as unconventional as glass slag and work gloves?
Work gloves off and your hands do this.
In this video, a glass factory worker shows us his unique method for keeping warm while working in bitterly cold conditions. He explains that despite the freezing temperatures outside, he has a special ally in the form of glass slag. As he pulls off his work gloves, the real magic happens. Smoke starts billowing from his hands, as if he's got some kind of superpower. The smoke is actually a result of his body's natural heat and moisture interacting with the frigid air. It's a fascinating visual of how your body produces warmth, even when surrounded by extreme cold. It's like watching your own personal engine at work. Work can definitely drag sometimes, especially when you're stuck without a break. But imagine if you had an invisible friend to keep things interesting, like this worker experienced in a hospital. In this spine-chilling video, we're looking at security camera footage from a hospital laundry room where a worker had an unsettling encounter. The footage shows the staff reviewing the camera feed, which captures the worker moving through the laundry room with his cart. While he's busy sorting laundry, the cart suddenly starts moving on its own. The worker doesn't notice the cart's eerie movement until the door swings open by itself, startling him so much that he bolts out of the room. It's both creepy and baffling. After this unsettling experience, it might be time for the worker to consider finding a new job, especially if it looks like the invisible force might be gunning for his position. You might have heard of the vengeful ghost of La Llorona, said to wander near bodies of water, mourning the children she drowned in a fit of jealous rage against her husband. This video claims to have captured her in real life. Uploaded on TikTok, this video purports to show actual footage of La Llorona. The scene appears to be a dimly lit parking lot, where, in the distance, a large mass of fabric is seen lying on the ground. Suddenly, the fabric begins to move, revealing what looks like a figure draped in a long cloak. The figure then walks away, with the sound of barking dogs echoing in the background. While some viewers insist this is La Llorona herself, others argue that it could easily be a prank or a staged video designed to attract attention. It's plausible that someone is simply wearing a long piece of fabric to mimic the ghostly appearance. Regardless of its authenticity, seeing this on a dark street alone at night would undoubtedly be enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Ever wondered about those mysterious cave-like holes scattered all over the steep side of a canyon and thought, who on earth created those? This video will clear up all your confusion, and with a surprising twist, in this clip, a mountain goat seems to be casually chilling in its little cave. Nothing out of the ordinary, until the cameraman zooms out. As the view expands, it reveals that this cave is perched thousands of feet above the ground, high up on a canyon face. The zoom out also uncovers thousands of similar small caves, dotting the cliffside. It's pretty amazing to see how these goats can reach such extreme places and make them their home. Mountain goats are equipped with specially adapted hooves that help them grip narrow ledges and steep inclines. Their hooves have a soft, rubbery outer layer for traction and a hard inner core for stability. These cave-like structures are more than just cozy homes. They also provide a strategic advantage by helping the goats avoid predators. After all, who would dare climb that high just to hunt them? I used to be a skeptic when it came to aliens and UFOs, dismissing most of the videos online as fakes. However, this footage from Cuba has me reconsidering my stance.
Esto como un extraterrestre, algo así.
This video, captured in Cuba, has left many people astonished by what the cameraman managed to film. The footage reveals an unusual object in the sky with a bizarre design, two wing-like structures, and a central glowing body that's continuously rotating, much like the spacecrafts we see in science fiction movies. The whole thing looks like a high-tech construct, almost as if it's from an advanced alien civilization. Given the video's quality, it doesn't seem likely to be computer-generated imagery. It appears to blend seamlessly into the real-world setting. While one might argue it could be a drone, I've never seen a drone quite like this before. This footage has certainly given me pause, and makes me wonder if there's more to these unknown flying object sightings than meets the eye. This video hails from Ireland and presents eerie footage of a cryptid captured at a girls' hostel. In the video, we witness the girls behind the camera genuinely frightened, searching the hallways for something ominous. As they turn on the hallway lights, There is initially nothing in sight. Undeterred, they venture upstairs into the darkness. Upon turning on the hallway light upstairs, something chilling appears at the end of the corridor. The encounter is undeniably unsettling, and by pausing the video at the precise frame where the creature is visible, it appears humanoid, but on all fours. This cryptid is looking directly at the girls, conveying an imminent threat. Given such situations, my advice for all of you would be to bring along some form of protection, such as a stick or pepper spray, during future investigations. You never know what you might encounter. Encountering something unknown or strange can be unsettling, but being stalked by it takes fear to a whole new level. In this video from a hiker, we get a glimpse of distant bushes with something lurking within. This mysterious creature keeps peeking its head out, observing and following the cameraman's every move. From its appearance, the creature seems quite humanoid, with an all-white body. When it peeks, we notice it has no hair and lacks typical human features, except for its nose, ears, and eyes. The creature also appears tall, easily peering over the tall bushes. It's genuinely frightening to witness something unknown, especially when you can't identify it at first. Towards the end of the video, the creature reveals itself to the hiker, causing the hiker to startle and quickly bolt away from the scene. For more strange and interesting footage, check this out.